Welcome back, y'all, to
Weird
Shit Wednesday. This is our first episode post live shenanigans.
It's like we're starting season 2.
We are. This is officially the start of season 2.
Season 2, episode 1.
Season 2, episode 1 of Weird Shit Wednesday. And I'm kind of excited about what I have to share with you today.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, I've got a little classic mythology.
Ooh.
I've got a mysterious disappearance. And I've got some, well-known ghosts.
Okay. Fun.
Historical ghosts.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a good mixture as well. I've got some creatures that are pretty draining. I've got, what else do I've got? I've got some very popular fatty fashion that came and went in the 70s.
Okay,
And then
all right. I'm here for a 70s moment.
Mm-hmm. Getting groovy. And then we got a serial killer that made an appearance on a game show.
I know that one, and I'm very excited. I love that story.
It's going to be fun.
All right.
For those of you guys that don't remember, we, instead of both of us going off the same tarot card, we're now going to be drawing 2 separate ones to give you guys a little more variety.
Gives us a little bit of diversity in our stories, gives us a little bit, that way we can hopefully avoid the conundrum of talking about the same topic again.
Yeah. I mean, it's only happened once that we each had the exact same topic.
But there's been a lot where they've been very similar or flowed from each other. So
yeah.
I think it'll just be nice to switch things up a little bit and just see what happens.
Make it weird.
So who should go first?
I believe you went first for the live show.
I did.
So I can
Although
go
you
first.
are currently knitting, so if you want to keep knitting, I could chat first.
I'm willing to put it down. I'll do it for you.
Nah, keep knitting. I'll go.
Okay.
All right. So Carson is working avidly to finish a baby gift that's due this weekend. It is currently Thursday, and it needs to be done by Saturday.
It needs to be done before Saturday morning because I'm driving down to the cities for it.
T-minus 36 hours.
Pretty much.
So I will get into mine and give you a little time to catch up on your whatever row you're on.
What a blessing.
So my tarot card for this month was the 6 of Stakes, or wands in the traditional deck. We used the Buffy deck, and in the Buffy deck, stakes are wands. So if that was confusing for anybody when we pull cards. This card represents victory and success and power. So I tried to do some digging on creatures or mythic figures that might tie into this. There are several gods that inhabit victory or triumph. But then I came across a creature and was reminded of one of my favorite movies as a kid. And that swayed me to talk about this particular beastie.
Nice.
So, my first encounter with this creature, as I said, was through one of my favorite animated movies in my childhood. In a time when Disney animation was king, this was Warner Brothers' answer, and it honestly might be better than some of the Disney movies of the time.
Okay.
I know that's a bold statement.
That is pretty bold.
This is one of, I'd forgotten about this movie, and I'm mad at myself for forgetting about it, and I definitely watched it after I did this research. I had to pay to watch it, too, because it's not on any streaming services, it's only rent only on Amazon Prime.
Well, that's
and I rented it so I could watch it.
That's commitment.
It was commitment, and it was just as joyful as I remember, and I sang along to every song.
Aww.
This movie features catchy songs, a truly terrifying villain, a comedic 2-headed dragon, and a badass female heroine.
Heck yeah, we love a badass queen.
It is also one of the few animated movies of its time to feature a person with disabilities as a main protagonist.
Well, heck yeah, let's go. We love representation.
Can you guess the movie?
I don't know. So it was animated?
It's animated. I'll give you the year, 1998.
Okay.
So you were alive.
I was alive. I was an infant,
But it was popular after, you might not know this one.
I might know. I don't think I have a feeling I don't know this.
I'm trying to give a hint that's not going to completely give it away. There's a falcon.
Okay.
There's knights.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very infamous king of legend.
Okay.
And an infamous sword of legend.
Is this... Oh, it's not Sword in the Stone, because that's
No.
Disney. Oh. It's gonna be along the lines of, like, King of Camelot, isn't it?
Quest for Camelot.
Quest for Camelot.
Yes. Have you seen this?
No. But
Okay, we are officially. I will purchase this movie. We are watching this on the next Girls' Day because you are going to be obsessed with it.
It sounds right up my alley. I'm really surprised I
It's
haven't
literally
seen it.
the story. So just to recap, if you haven't seen Quest for Camelot, shame on you because the music phenomenal.
I think
Features
I've
the
seen-
queen herself, Celine Dion, for the music. Yeah, the music is fucking awesome. So the story follows the daughter, Kaylee, of one of the knights of King Arthur's Round Table.
Okay.
He is killed protecting Arthur from the villain,
Mhm.
who is a knight gone bad.
Ooh.
And he dives into the dark magics to try, he wants Excalibur.
Okay.
Now that Kaylee has grown up, Ruber, who's the evil guy, attacks Camelot and has his creature, which we're going to get to here in a minute. I'm going off topic for a little bit, but
Yeah.
important for the story. Context. His pet, which is the main character we're going to talk about, steals Excalibur, but drops it into this like mythical forbidden forest.
Oh.
Ruber then goes and takes Kaylee's mom hostage to make Arthur comply because he has a soft spot for her because her husband was his best friend.
Right.
Kaylee escapes and flees into the forest trying to find Excalibur to save. And all she's ever dreamed of is being a knight, even though she's a woman and she's not allowed to be.
Mhm.
She meets a gentleman in the forest who is blind, but also trained with her father to be a knight before her father took him under his wing after he was blinded saving a stable of horses and trained him to be a knight using his instincts.
Cool.
And he has a pet falcon that helps him see. It's like a seeing eye falcon.
I love this.
And they get together and they go to fight the bad guy and they make friends with a two-headed dragon that sings and does comedy. And it's fucking fantastic. Yes. So, yes. 1998 classic, Quest for Camelot. More specifically, we're going to talk about Griffin. Not just the sarcastic sidekick / pet of Ruber, but one of the most majestic and terrifying mythic beasts of all time. So in this movie, Ruber has a pet griffin that's like his like henchman.
Yeah.
And he is like this snarky, sarcastic evildoer who's just like, yes, master. And it's so fucking awesome. So this is where we're going.
I love
It's likely considering I just went on a 10-minute tirade including song and dance. Let's just say it's been a day, it's been a week, it's been a month, and I'm a little unhinged.
Get on our level. If you're not ready, too bad.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go.
Tell me about these griffins.
So, if you don't know what a griffin is, I'm going to tell you a little about them. Griffins are mythical creatures with the head and wings of an eagle and the body of a lion. They are believed to have originated in Eastern art and mythology, though they arrived in Greece at a very early period. So they're often displayed in like Greek mythology and Middle Eastern mythology.
Aren't they also sometimes called chimeras?
Maybe.
Because they have very similar qualities.
Mm-hmm. I think they're slightly bigger. Because they're huge. These are like
the big boys.
Half an elephant size.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
We got a big boy.
Mm-hmm. According to the Greeks, griffins lived at the very edge of the world, where they hoarded gold and battled the legendary race of the one-eyed Armaspians.
All right.
I'm probably not pronouncing that right because I don't speak Greek. According to most... I'm so sorry. According to most Greek sources, griffins lived in their northern or northwestern edge of the world, particularly in Eastern Europe or Central Asia. This region was thought to be populated by a number of strange and legendary races, including the Hyperboreans, the Ascidians, and the Aramaspians, as well as a man named Pompeius, which his literal name is Pompeius Mela, which just sounds like a pompous man.
I was literally about to say, like, is this where we get the word pompous from?
Maybe. He was a geographer of the 1st century CE and placed griffins in the legendary Riphean Mountains of northern Eurasia. Other sources, however, spoke of griffins who lived in India, and like many of the familiar griffins of Central Asia, these griffins also lived near gold deposits. They're often associated with like gold and wealth and power.
Makes sense because you see griffins on a lot of like royal crests
Yes.
sometimes.
Yep. They were described by the Greeks as a large hybrid creature, like I said, having the head and wings of an eagle, body of a lion. Aeschylus, I don't know, we got too many Greek names, called them, quote, the sharp-beaked hounds of Zeus that do not bark. They were reported in a tradition in which they were also could be spotted like leopards, though that was a less popular belief system.
Okay.
The griffins of India are sometimes described in more detail. They're said to be about the size of a wolf, so theirs are slightly smaller. With the legs and claws of a lion, colorful plumage, black feathers across most of their body, red breast feathers, blue neck feathers, and white wings.
Cool.
So super colorful in India. I like this version better. A noteworthy description of the Indian griffin can be found in the Philostratus life of Apollonius of Tyana, which it states the creatures are, quote, held in veneration as being sacred to Helios the sun and the Indian artists. When they represent Helios, yoke 4 of them abreast to draw the images, and in size and strength they resemble lions, but having this advantage over them, they have wings. They will attack, and they get the better of elephants and dragons, but they have no great power of flying, no more than any bird of short flight. For they are not winged as in proper birds, but the palms of their feet are webbed with red membranes, such that they are able to revolve them and make a fight or flight in the air, and the tiger alone is beyond their powers of attack because of its swiftness. So really the only thing that they can't kill is a tiger, which is interesting. From this, the creature's popularity spread across the Mediterranean, arriving in pre-dynastic Egypt by around 3000 BCE. The griffin also reached Syria in the second millennium, and Anatolia and the Aegean continent not long after that. In Minoan Crete, for example, griffins are seen in painted frescoes at the Palace of Knossos, which can be dated back as far as 1500 BCE. Though similar creatures are known to many cultures, the Greek griffin has probably exerted the strongest influence on Western creations. Griffins have appeared in works of art and literature throughout history, including Dante's Divine Comedy and John Milton's Paradise Lost.
Cute.
Griffins also feature in modern retellings of Greek mythology. In Rick Riordan's 2011 novel, The Son of Neptune, for example, the protagonist, who is led by Percy Jackson, is attacked by griffins while traveling in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Griffins have a long history of use in heraldry and continue to grace many crests, like you said today, and logos today. Some examples include the United Paper Mills, the Vauxhall Motors, and Scania, which is some like name brands in Europe.
Cool.
Finally, griffins have often appeared in books, films, TV shows, and games within the fantasy genre, including major franchises like Warcraft, Dungeons & Dragons, Harry Potter, The Spiderwick Chronicles, and The Chronicles of Narnia.
Mm-hmm. I've not encountered a griffin yet in D&D, so...
Hey, Kane, if you're listening...
Oh, no. Don't give him
They've
any
got
ideas.
some big attack points. Griffins are often attributed with the combination of the strength of the lion and the swiftness and keen vision of the eagle, making them very powerful guardians and protectors of mythical stories. They're believed to be exceedingly strong, capable of carrying away full-grown horses and even knights in armor.
Done.
They are rich in symbolism and are commonly associated with protection and vigilance. That's why it kind of tied into my card. Given their role as guardians of treasure, divine entities, they symbolize the dual nature of wisdom and power, and also represent justice and fidelity, often depicted in heraldic motifs and that showcase courage and boldness. In Dante's Alighieri, the Divine Comedy, a griffin is used to symbolically represent the dual of the divine and the human, and the eagle representing divinity and the lion signifying humanity. In the epic poem, the griffin pulls the chariot of the divine mystical rose into the earthly paradise, which Dante equates to divine revelation and truth. This portrayal highlights the griffin's role as a guardian of sacred truths and divine mysteries.
Very cool.
And that is griffins.
Griffin!
So there's not like a ton of like very specific things, but they're like throughout history, they've been a very popular mythical figure.
Yeah.
I think everyone's probably seen a picture. Share with me what mystical creatures you have brought.
Yes. So I drew the Knight of Chalices, which represents romance, emotional matters, and creative endeavors. It can signify or signify a new romantic interest, or be a call to action to be more emotionally open and courageous.
That's a cool card. I like
Yeah,
that.
it was a fun one.
I'm jealous. Yours is better than mine.
So talking about emotional matters, I'm like, okay, well, what are some creatures out there that kind of feed off emotions?
Ooh.
So I got into researching a little bit, and we are going to talk about race.
I had a suspicion this might be with the direction you were going with that.
Yes, dark and spooky. Because I thought, like, well,
Because I was like, you know, it could go like succubi, incubi, but I was like, we already talked about
we
that.
already talked about it because that's where I was just about to say. I was kind of thinking that, but you already touched on that last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what else can I?
Last season.
Last season.
We're in multiple seasons now.
Yes. So yes, we're gonna get into race. And anytime I say race, I think of there's a line from Lord of the Rings where it's Gollum. He goes, "Rolls with wings."
See, and I just go pudding, because that's the episode the Wraith is in. Is the episode of pudding?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's see.
So, among countless mythical creatures that haunt the shadowy corners of folklore, few are as chilling or unforgettable as the Wraith.
It's true.
A classical figure in European mythology, a Wraith is not simply a ghost, it is a spectral predator, a furious and malevolent spirit born of hatred and sorrow.
Damn.
It's the stuff of nightmares, man. It's a creature whispered about in ancient texts and feared in stories passed on from generation to generation. We got really
Very dark. Yeah, I like it. I feel like I'm in a History Channel documentary.
on this episode of the History Channel.
On this episode of The Dark Side of the World.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Whether it's described as a faceless shadow or a cloaked figure with skeletal hands, it remains one of the most terrifying undead creatures in all myth and legends. It does not just haunt, it hunts.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I like it.
Yeah. So we got origins in European folklore. The word wraith has deep roots in Scottish and Northern European tradition. Historically, it's referred to the spirit of a person seen just before death, often considered an omen. However, over centuries, the meaning has evolved. In some folklore, it has become a vengeful ghost, often the results of a cursed soul with unfinished business or a profound betrayal in life. Unlike many spirits that pass peacefully into the afterlife, wraiths are trapped between worlds, denied entry into the spirit realm. They exist in torment, feeding off of the life force of the living and growing stronger through each soul they consume. According to ancient tales, the transformation into a wraith is a fate worse than death.
Damn. All right.
Mhm.
That's harsh.
Yeah. It said that this fate is reserved for those who have succumbed to their darkest instincts. So if you've got bad juju in your life. So what does a wraith look like?
Scary as fuck is my guess.
Yes. Yep. So descriptions that I found, they vary, but one terrifying theme is across the board, for almost all of them, they are always cloaked in darkness. They suck the light out of whatever area that they are in.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
I see that fucker coming at me and the dark is darker than the dark. I'm noping the fuck out.
Nope.
Nope.
Mhm.
No ma'am.
No ma'am. So they typically appear as black hooded phantoms. Their forms flow kind of like torn veils of shadow. So they're usually depicted with long cloaks, kind of long tethers. They're gonna be reaching for you.
Nope. You keep your wraithy hands to yourself.
Yep.
Consent, people, consent.
Consent. Long, gauntly arms, skeletal fingers that look like branches, and their faces are usually hidden beneath their hoods. Or some say that there's no face at all.
It's giving Grim Reaper-y.
Very, very similar.
But I can see that, yeah, because you talked about the visions before death and almost it's very origins of Grim Reaper tales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some
correlation.
Yeah, there's some correlation.
That word.
Correlation.
Serial killer.
A serial killer.
Serial killer.
Yep.
That's never leaving.
Nope.
You're stuck with that. You were even talking about a serial killer today. Look what you've done to yourself.
I know.
Start the serial killer counter right now.
Yep. So, where would one find a... Why Wow, it got me talking about serial killers, and now my brain just short-circuited. So, where do the Wraiths live? Where do they lurk?
The darkness.
The darkness.
Yes.
Wraiths are said to dwell in ruins, graveyards, ancient battlefields, and long-forgotten places soaked in sorrow or loss. They simply do not haunt. They occupy, turning a space into a cold vacuum of despair.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
This is some emo shit.
Oh, yeah.
The goth girls would be all over this.
They are 100%.
Like, I am the wraith. Makes the darkness darker than the dark.
And like a sudden silence where it goes like dead quiet. That's usually when they are showing up.
That's some like flesh pedestrian shit too.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
I love all the correlations between all
So the Wraiths have a couple of abilities. Things such as Soul Drain, where with a single touch they can siphon the life force from a being, leaving only a cold and empty shell behind. Emotional Domination. Wraiths exude an aura of despair and hopelessness, so kind of like in Harry Potter, and when they talk about being in the presence of a Dementor, how they just
Dementors have very like wraith-like qualities,
very
like
much
the wispy
the
darkness.
wispiness, they suck like the joy out of you. Like Ron specifically, when they're on the train, he's like, I feel like I can never be happy again, because they just suck the joy out, and the only way to dispel a Dementor is using the Expecto Patronus, but you can only really use that spell if you pull from a happy memory.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. They have supernatural speed and intangibility. They're almost impossible to catch. They float, obviously, because they float around above the ground. They can pass through walls and vanish into a shadow at will. So physical weapons like arrows, swords, bullets, pass right through them. And they are just hate-fueled energy waves. And like in moments of fury, they can unleash waves of negative energy, powerful enough to freeze the air and shatter windows. These are rare, but they can be devastating when these shows of power occur. Why do they hunt humans? Unlike most spirits who act on instinct or unfinished business, they possess intelligence and memory. They often fixate on specific targets, on those who may have wronged them in life, or those who represent something they hate.
Right, piss off.
Exactly. A wraith might follow a family line for generations, punishing descendants for an ancestor's mistakes.
That's some dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I hate your great-great-great-great-grandpappy, so I'm gonna haunt your butt.
Fuck you up.
Fuck you up. Others might haunt a soldier who left them to die, a lover who betrayed them, or a king who denied them justice. Their purpose is simple but terrifying: punish through soul enslavement. They are ultimate executors, not of justice, but of vengeance.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. So these guys they are the ultimate grudge holder. There is ways to protect yourselves from rape, which is good. Salt circles, iron talismans, sacred light, so a candle blessed by the clergy, or names and offerings. In rare cases, speaking a wraith's true name and making peace with them can sometimes release their spirit or their grip on the world. So if you can figure out their identity and figure out what wronged them, and try and give them some form of justice, then they can move on.
Nah, I'll stick with myself.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That seems easier.
I'll just keep drinking my pickle juice.
Drink your pickle juice. I'll just, do like a salt scrub or something every once in a while.
Exactly. But yeah, Braves, they continue to haunt our imaginations. They're in pretty much almost every fantasy novel or horror film that we can come up with. A lot of popular examples are J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, the Nazgul, or the Ring Wraiths. Like I said earlier, Wraiths with wings! We've got, they're in video games like Elder Scrolls or World of Warcraft, and Harry Potter is another popular example of them. Supernatural. So, our little soul-sucking
nightmare fuel.
Our little soul-sucking, emotional draining creatures. Watch out.
All right. Well, that's kind of a nice segue because we're going to go from one nightmare to another.
Oh boy.
My what in the world is something I stumbled across on the TikTok. And I went down a rabbit hole. It's a genuinely terrifying story. It's a true story,
Mm.
and there's photos
Oh,
that are unsettling to say the least.
okay.
And I have the photos. And
Okay.
I'll show them to you. So I basically just copy and pasted this article because it was so detailed
Mm-hmm.
and did a nice job of like
Breaking it down.
categorizing it all together.
Okay.
That we're just going to read the article. This
Okay.
article is by Adam Doc Fox. For the it's actually an interview with a case expert named Roman Casalta, who went on an expedition to find the answers to this cold case. It's a cold case.
Okay.
So this is the story of the disappearance of Chris and Lasan. And the title of the article is Found Dead in Panama, New Clues on 2014 Cold Case.
Oh.
Yes. So like I said, this is an inclusive interview with Roman Casalta. He had just done his 8th expedition to find answers into this case. Like, he's determined to solve it.
Oh, geez.
Because it has yet to be solved 11 years later. So I'm going to start with a little backstory. So you kind of get where this cold case, what happened to the cold case, and then we'll go into the interview and talk about.
Okay.
This takes place in Panama. 2 young Dutch women, Chris Kremers, 21, and Lasan Froon, 22, went for a hike on the El Pianista Trail in the jungles of Panama and were never seen alive again. This is them.
I think I've seen this picture before.
Ooh, this might come up. There's more pictures to come.
Okay.
On April 1st, 2014, they set out on a trail. And on June 14th, their blue backpack with a Canon PowerShot camera inside was discovered on a riverbank by locals from the village of Alto Romero. For 10 days, phone data showed Froon's Samsung Galaxy S3 and Kramer's iPhone 4, throwback,
Oh my god. Yeah.
were powered on and off, along with attempts to call emergency numbers to no avail with no reception.
Ooh.
So for 10 days, they tried to call for help.
Mm.
On day 8, the PowerShot camera revealed 99 strange photos taken between 1 and 3 a.m., mostly of the black night sky, a rock with a stick that appears to have a red bag tied to it, and a bizarre photo of hair.
Hello.
These are the last 4 photos on the camera.
Well, it is spooky. Especially
Right?
the one with the hair, because it looks like there's a chunk of her hair, like right there.
It could be missing.
Kind of looks like a...
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll continue while you survey
Yeah.
this. 33 bones would be located in the weeks that followed finding the backpack, scattered along the Culebra River, matching the DNA of the young women.
Mm.
Source Media interviewed one of the world's expert on this case, Frenchman Romain Casalta, from his home in Paris in an attempt to piece together exactly what happened to the young women. Kramers and Froon were in Panama set to volunteer to school in Boquete and had an unexpected couple of days before classes began to explore the area. They decided to do the El Pianista Trail, a well-established 2.5-mile hike with an elevation of 1,923 feet, to a stunning overlook in the rolling hills of the jungle. So, a seemingly simple task.
Yeah.
Fox asks, what did the women have with them? Casalta responds, what we know comes from the photos and what we have found in their backpack. They had clothing, a pair of shirts, boots, and jeans. They had no flashlight besides their phones, which of course have lights on them.
Mm-hmm.
They also had a camera with a green light that could be used as a flashlight. They carried sunglasses, a camera cover, a keychain, a key, an insurance card, and 2 bottles of water.
Because they had their insurance with them.
We can speculate about snacks because one of the night photos shows what looks like a Pringles lid.
Mm-hmm.
There may have been a tourist map of Boquete as well, since papers in a night photo resemble a map seen earlier in their pictures, but nothing for a long hike. No water purifier or any survival equipment.
Okay.
It is of note that the young ladies did reach El Mirador, or the summit overlook, around 1 p.m. that day, according to the timestamps of the summit photos from the recovered camera. They took a bunch of pictures and seemed to be very happy and safe. Instead of descending down the same route, however, back to the trailhead, They followed the path descending the other side of the hill.
Okay.
Pictures and timestamps later in the afternoon confirmed this, with the last one being at approximately 1:54 p.m. Casalta himself went to that exact spot and confirmed that they did take that photo there on one of these expeditions. And the women, again, seemed content and unharmed in these photos. There's the photos of, like, where they were just chilling on the rocks. So they look...
Yeah, like...
They look fine.
They're
just exploring nature. They're playing. They're, like, standing on some rocks, smiling.
Mm-hmm. And I might have missed it, but is this, like, a well-established, like, hiking spot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's a very popular trail, a simple trail for locals, especially.
Gotcha.
Things had gone horribly wrong, however, at 4:39 p.m. The women tried calling 112, which is the Dutch emergency number. Something had happened. Were they hurt? Were they lost? Had an animal attacked? Was there something else lurking? Or someone else? Both phones were powered off on April 1st at 5:52 p.m. They knew they were in the jungle for the night. Fox asked, "What do you think happened at the moment to make them call the emergency number?" And Casalta replies, "The first call is significant. At that time, there were still at least 2 hours of daylight. Even in vegetation, it would be dark later, closer to 7 p.m. They had phone flashlights. They could have walked back or even spent the night on the trail. It should not have been a major problem. Also, there's a 3-hour gap between their last tour-style photo and the emergency call. That suggests a change in mindset. Something happened in between those two time frames.
Mm-hmm.
But the timing of the call doesn't mean the incident happened right then. It could have happened earlier and they tried to manage it first. I don't think it was animals," he says. "Most large animals there are nocturnal." He had spent plenty of time in the area. Jaguars are rare, which would be the first kind of more dangerous aspect. But they do know there is one that lives in the area because of they had found a deceased horse that had been attacked.
Gotcha.
And he goes on to talk about how they had taken drone footage and that you could see the deceased horse in the drone footage.
Yeah.
So he goes on here, he goes, in the video, you can see, 2 horses are dead because one was killed by a big cat and then one a year later.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a large feline in the area, but they're very hard to meet because they are mostly active at night.
Yeah.
Snakes usually avoid humans, but you should be careful with that, of course, because one bite, depending on the species, could kill you in 30 minutes or less.
Yep.
But it doesn't fit what happened to the girls, because if it was a snake to one of them, at least one of them would be dead quickly, in a few days at least. And it was clear that they were both still alive several days after this disappearance.
Yeah.
Something that isn't often thought about is wild pigs.
Ooh,
they have, for
those
example,
are vicious.
Mm-hmm, a species in Panama called the peccary, and it's a type of wild pig that are very aggressive. They go on to talk about how this researcher, Casalta, has a friend that was attacked in Panama by one of these pigs and was bleeding, and they had to actually kill the pig to stop him from attacking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're very, like, most wild boars and, like, big pigs like that, they're very territorial, and, like, if you're anywhere in their vicinity, once they walk onto you, they go.
Yeah.
Like, similar to, like, hippos. Because hippos kill a lot of people.
Yeah. Exactly. He did speculate that even though this is a possibility, it is still rare because he'd only heard of one other experience with pigs in this area.
Mm.
Another type of injury is possible, but we need to consider there were 2 people. One could have helped the other if one was injured.
Yep.
And they were not found on the trail, which is strange. They shouldn't have been led to be found so deep in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no
logical
reason they would have left the trail.
Yeah.
Many people have speculated that they might have fallen off the trail, maybe tried to climb a steep area, and without equipment, maybe got stuck or got hurt or fell, and then not be able to get back up the trail.
Okay.
So that's kind of one of the more popular theories.
Yeah, because, like, maybe they dropped something and they had to go retrieve it and then they just got stuck down where they were.
Yeah, so Fox goes on to talk about how when he watched the videos, because there's, like, drone footage of, like, the areas they suspected them to have been in
mm-hmm.
at this time, and he said I'm a mountaineer and a climber, and I examined the terrain and then studied a couple of your other reports. We were talking about a 70% grade of the hill, so like a 70% incline. So that's pretty steep, and if you're not an experienced climber, probably wouldn't be able to get back up that.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to mention that when they found when they did find the bone remains, like I said, they've only found pieces.
Yeah.
Which is, again, concerning.
Mm-hmm.
He said, was there not a foot bone that looked like it had fractured? And Casalta responds, yes, there was possibly a metatarsal fracture, as mentioned in the original report, but it is not mentioned in the Panamanian police report. It could have happened from walking upstream on river rocks and jamming a foot between them, but the autopsy from Panama does not mention it. So that's an interesting discrepancy. Casalta continues on to say that another speculation is that they got lost, although this is also doubtful because this trail is straightforward, one way in, one way out. It was a clear day, no mist, and no like the chances of being confused in losing direction is very minimal.
Yeah.
And if they did step off the trail, the slope of the natural like area would guide them back to the trail, actually, because the trail is like down at the bottom of this like valley.
Yeah.
Their short jeans and just t-shirt, light clothing also make it unlikely they'd push deeper into vegetation voluntarily, because they weren't dressed for it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense that they would go that deep. People actually get scared going about 10 meters in typically, and so he doesn't think simply, quote, getting lost fits what happened here either. There are, of course, stories of people getting invitation, later getting lost, but they're very uncommon. Sorry, I'm just lost my place. So he goes on to say, like, okay, so we don't think it's an animal. We don't think it's. What other option is there?
Yeah.
And Casalta says the most likely unfortunate situation is a human encounter.
Yeah.
During expeditions, he said it would be quite common to meet people from the Caribbean side of Panama, and that there are people passing all the time on this trail. It's a pretty popular area.
Yeah.
He believes that they were put in a situation where they're a ways off the trail, could not get back, whether that be due to someone forcing them there or something others happening. So at this time, in the interview, they talked about the phones and how over the next 10 days, from the day they went missing, for 10 days, they attempted to call for help several different times with no reception. The phones powered on, powered off, but on day 7 to 10, there's no activity whatsoever on the phone other than just powering on and off. I'm assuming it's trying to check for signal.
Yeah.
So we know for sure these women were alive for 10 days after they went missing, which is wild to think that they're in the jungle, zero equipment, zero survival gear, in shorts and t-shirts.
And probably not a lot, probably
and not experienced. They're 21 and 22 years old. They're college students. They're not, they don't know what the hell they're doing.
They're not backwoods in it.
He asked about, like, was there a possibility that they were immobilized somehow? Could they have become sick from bug bites? Like basically just trying to speculate. What are the options of what could happen?
Yeah.
They talked about the potentially of them accidentally ingesting a poisonous plant. And he asked, why do you think there was no activity between days 7 and 10? Casalta responds saying that it's likely lack of exhaustion and options, that they had probably tried many times before with no success, and by then they'd had no food for a week and had been moving, trying to find their way out. They were in an area that's called, the belt, which is very rough terrain. So the inactivity would be explained by this combination of kind of being exhausted, trying to find their way out, focusing on just moving from one place to another. But the photos that we find that we've taken there, the 90 to 100 photos were taken on day 8. So, yeah. He asked him his interpretation of them, saying, what is your interpretation of these photos? It's in the middle of the night. Most of them look to be pointed at the black sky. You can see some things like a big rock, a branch with red bags tied to it. What do you think is happening here? Are they trying to scare off an attacker? Did they try to use the camera flash for light? Like, what do you think is happening here? Casalta goes on to say there are two possibilities. One is that they were perhaps trying to signal their presence to someone or something. The photos are mostly in the same direction and taken in quick succession, as if they try to like flash maybe a plane or something going overhead.
That makes sense.
They're using it as a light, not to take a picture, to get seen.
Yeah.
And one thinking maybe they were trying to signal a rescue team or something else. This is the most likely situation. But yeah, so that's what's it. And then he asked about a light that they also saw while they were investigating this case and camping in this area. Casalta said, yes, it was very late on the trail. He ran into a native person who was also on the trail late at night, assumed that he would sleep in the vegetation, and then he saw a campfire later that evening, but he didn't find any evidence of a fire. So,
Gotcha.
like, kind of an interesting encounter there.
Yeah.
But that there are also insects like lightning bugs and fireflies in the area that would also emit a small light. So if they might have maybe seen lightning bugs thinking there were people in the distance and try to that was a possibility.
Hey, we're here.
So they talk about the different photos. The one specifically that a lot of people perseverate on is the hair. Of like, why would and they're pretty sure that the hair belongs to Christina, to Chris, because of the color.
Yeah.
And they said, Casalta said he believes that that photo was taken accidentally, that Chris just got in front of the camera between shots. But they can tell that like the camera, because of like the type of it was, did have time to at least focus on her at this point to take a picture. So like, it's possible it was intentional, but it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
They just kind of like, they chalk it up to. The other thing, the interviewee says the thing that baffles him is the bread bag attached to the stick, and why they might do that, where they were trying to attempt to make a signal or some sort or mark something. He thought maybe they were using it to get water, but they both had water bottles and were near a stream, so that doesn't really make sense. And the only thing that they for sure can speculate on that is 100% is that they were standing on some sort of big rock formation.
Yeah.
So the most likely thing is they are trying to signal something.
Trying to make themselves maybe a little more visible.
Yeah.
For someone that's maybe below, and they look up and think, oh, that red thing wasn't there before.
Yeah.
Let's go investigate.
So on day 11, Chris's phone is turned on for the final time, and he asks Casalta, do you think that is when they died? And Casalta says, I think it's possible they stayed alive a few more days. 10 days is about the average survival limit in the jungle without food or training. They may have lasted a few more days, but the last phone activity shows they stopped conserving battery, maybe one final attempt before giving up. They have found bones, but due to the state of decomposition, they have little to go on to make a guess of when they died.
Yeah.
He said it's hard in the jungle to determine using bones alone how long something is out there because of animal scavenging and the conditions of the jungle.
Yep.
He said it speeds
up decay.
Yep. He said, for example, on one of his trips, he had found a deceased cow, came back 3 weeks later, and it was simply bones. So, a lot of people have speculated in this story of like, because they haven't found all of their bones, but some, and they're like, well, why were they scattered? How would they come just bones in under a year? Like that usually takes a lot more time.
Yeah.
But the conditions of
the area they're in, you got to take that into factor, because like human bodies in cold areas don't decay as fast because the cold preserves it, the ice preserves it. So it would make more sense that in somewhere that's warm, tropical, humid like Panama, it's gonna be a lot faster. And especially if you have things like insects, animals, all that contributing to it, makes sense that it would be a lot quicker.
Yeah. So a lot of speculations have been made because there's discrepancy in the autopsies. So there was an autopsy done in Panama on the bones when they were first discovered. Then they were sent to the Netherlands because that's where they originated from. And there was not really an autopsy, but like an investigation done,
Yeah.
and they don't match.
Okay.
So there's discrepancy. Like the broken foot bone is mentioned in the Netherlands copy, but not in the Pana one. So there's a lot of speculation that perhaps there was some sort of cover up from the Panamanian
Oh,
police.
so maybe because they didn't want like maybe some like diplomatic stuff.
Yeah,
going
some
on
diplomatic stuff, or simply like don't want people to be afraid to come there.
Or also maybe just inexperienced too.
Well, and that's what he says. He asks about it like, hey, do you think, you know, what do you think of you've gone and explored this many times. What do you think of the police work that's done? And he said that he believes there was not a cover up, but that the quality of the work by the police at the time was poor. That they should have gone deeper into interviews. They should have done a stronger analysis of the backpack and the contents of the backpack at the time and of the bones. They mention in some of the reports that there are marks on the bones from rocks, but the autopsy report didn't show any of that. He also criticizes, saying they should have hired professionals to explore the trail and perhaps track them sooner to maybe have a better chance. Like, probably wouldn't have found them alive, but maybe could have found something. He suggested that they should have hired locals to check the area first, and when they first went missing, and to search, you know, that they basically just went to the last place they were known to be and started there and didn't like explore other nearby areas that they might have been attracted to. There's a place that's mentioned many times called like Monkey Bridge that I guess is a pretty popular tourist, and it would have been a walkable distance for them, and they might have decided to like take the scenic route there and gotten lost. And then the last thing he talks about is how, in another thing that's been very part of this, like, there's a lot of conspiracy theories around this particular thing, and one of them surrounds the photos because they were taken in succession, but photo 509 is missing.
Oh.
So the succession goes 508, 510 in the little like digital whatever. So he asked about that, and he's like, is this a sign of foul play? You know, and he says we can never really be sure. It could have been deleted by the girls for some reason. It could have been a technical error or accidentally deleted by investigators because there wasn't exactly the best handling of the evidence.
Right, because he said they didn't do a great job.
They didn't do a great job. He said, I don't really know exactly what put them in a state to call 911, but he believes they got lost at the very least. They got off the trail somehow, maybe to take a photo or walk upriver, or simply just wandered in the wrong direction. 10 days of survival, you know, is just probably the limit at which their bodies would survive. They were trying to signal something with the photos, is what he believes, and that they both died near the riverbed, probably of dehydration and starvation. And that is why that he believes that they likely died by the river, because it is most likely that when the water then rose with the rains that came shortly after then, it would have taken them downstream.
That makes sense.
And dispersed their bones along various places.
Got it.
And that other like creatures in the river might have picked apart their bodies as well, kind of adding to this dispersal of their bones. And again, like, no one has an official theory as to what forced them off the trail. Did someone get bit by a snake? Did they get lost? Did someone point them in the wrong direction? Did, you know, no one really knows why. But at the end of the day, you know, some people feel strongly that this might have been human trafficking gone wrong. Or that they had encountered someone on the trail that they were afraid of and tried to escape from. But at the end of the day, the things we know for sure is that they more than likely died of natural causes after getting lost. They don't know what caused them to become lost. But it's just kind of an intriguing story. And there's still So they're working on a documentary on it. Is in development. This guy Casalta is part of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're still like 10, 12, 11, almost 12 years later, still going out yearly and trying to find like where did these girls end up and how did this happen?
Spooky.
But yeah,
That's very spooky.
I also think it's spooky if you look at one of the photos. Like, it's kind of hard to see in this one because it's little, but like there's little lights.
Yeah.
They're like floating. It could be like maybe insects reflections. But
yeah.
When you blow up the photo, it almost looks like orbs.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
So there's always someone.
And it could have been like spots on the camera or on the lens too, because they're obviously in the jungle. There's gonna be dirt and all that jazz.
And they're but yeah, I think it's just so sad that like these two girls just literally they're like, hey, we're down here to volunteer, and we got a couple days off. Let's go explore Panama and the beauty of the jungle, and then they're never heard from again.
Yeah.
Like just gone, vanished.
How heartbreaking for their families too. Just like probably never.
They'll never have answers.
They'll never have answers.
I don't think we'll ever. I mean, I'm glad they were able to find at least some remains. 30 bones is not a lot between two collective bodies.
No, not at all.
That's a very small amount. And I'm from Tremor. I was reading some other articles, and I think it was like a jawbone, a hip bone, some like foot bones, a femur. Like it's just bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense when he explains like the river and how when it ebbs and flows, like it would easily have dispersed
it would, like,
their body parts.
Like something gets stuck on a rock here, a fish grabs it here,
an alligator here,
or the tide recedes and then maybe it just gets left up on shore. And...
Yeah. So, but it's just intriguing to like just this giant mystery of like what happened to them, why the picture of the back of Chris's head, like
a lot of more questions than answers.
Yes. But I like that they're still searching. Like they're trying to find answers, which is good.
Good on them.
Hope we one day find out. I don't know that we will. But where are we traveling in the world for you?
We are going to the 1970s.
Ah, we're traveling through time.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So we're gonna
let me get my bell bottoms and
oh yes,
peace signs.
Bell bottoms, some big hair, some glasses.
I love a good big hair moment.
Yes.
A little Farrah Fawcett, if you will.
Farrah Fawcett. So we're going to be talking about a staple, some iconic jewelry staples in I think a lot of people's wardrobes. And I'd be very, 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 very surprised if you did not own one now. We're going to talk about mood rings.
I do own a mood ring. Yay! I love mood rings.
Yes. So it kind of fits in the theme with the Knight of Chalices with emotional matters. Like, let's talk about mood rings. Can it detect your mood? Is it science or is it a hoax? Dun dun dun. Mysticism.
These were such a thing for a while. Like, they had a resurgence in the 90s too. Which is when I encountered them. Yes. I'm old, but I ain't that old.
I had a mood ring that when I was in 8th grade, and I loved it. I really, really wish it didn't do this, but I thought it was so cool when it would turn into like a really dark, like brownish black when it got cold out. So I was curious what would happen if I put it in the freezer.
And I put it in there,
and I forgot about it because I meant to only put it in there for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But then I think I got called to go like do something, and then like getting ready for bed a couple hours later, my ring. So I had this really cool, like it was like a brass band. It had like engravings on it. It was super cool. It was like chunker.
Dang,
it was a big sized one. It was like permanently black, which still looked cool, but
should have taken a blowtorch to it just to see what happened.
Dang, that would be cool.
Hold a lighter under it. Fire it is. Watch it explode.
Probably.
I had a mood necklace that I wore everywhere for like the entirety of 7th grade.
I love it.
It was a heart.
Love it, love it, love it. Alrighty, so let's dive into it. We're going to the 1970s. They're famous for bell bottoms and the rise of disco, but it was also the era of economic struggle, cultural change, and technological innovation. As we groove out here.
I'm doing Staying Alive dance if you guys need a visual.
Staying alive, staying alive.
Staying alive.
Alrighty, so when Josh Reynolds and Maris Ambats introduced their color-changing mood ring in American stores in 1975, few could have anticipated just how quickly the novelty jewelry would explode in popularity. By the end of the year, 20 million worth of mood rings had sold.
That's a lot of mood rings.
That's a lot.
I just had a thought.
What's that?
What if you bought just an F-time mood wings?
Mood rings.
Mood wings.
Now wish is what brings us together. Today.
No, what if you covered an entire wall with mood rings and then just like rolled across it?
That would be so cool. That
It's
sounds
like the girl that does the pop socket wall.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say it. Alice Spagnolia.
Yes, thank you.
She
I
would
could
be
see
all
her doing
over
that.
Do it. Like, this is your reality. This is your baseline. Yellow signified they were unsettled. Green meant mixed emotions, while blue was
I
relaxed.
don't think I ever got yellow.
I don't think so either.
Mine were always either green, blue, or black.
Same. I got
Or purple.
Yeah, like purple was like another one. That was like kind of in between. Days after the $75 silver-plated rings were introduced in the New York City at the upscale department store Bonwit Teller, the New York Times ran a story reporting that hundreds of consumers were storming the jewelry counter there. That fall, a manager of the Alexander's department store in Monmouth, New Jersey, described how hard the fad was hitting his suburban shore town, telling the local newspapers they had sold thousands in just 3 weeks.
Damn.
We had to send a truck to get more. We ordered about 25,000 of them. A few months later, the popularity of mood rings had already begun to dwindle, as the market was flooded with poor quality knockoffs.
Yeah, that sounds alright.
In 1977, so 2 years later, Reynolds filed for bankruptcy.
Oh no.
But why did these mood rings capture the imagination of the world so intensely?
Because people are dumb and gullible.
Yeah.
And easily influenced by fads.
Right? It's nutty how quick people jump onto things, and then it's like, and because everyone was like going fucking nuts for Stanley's last year, and now it's all about the All Wallas.
Oh well, yeah, and that's the Dubai chocolate thing has been like a big.
I don't know about that one.
It's like a specific type of chocolate bar with like pistachio and this like crunchy stuff in it.
Oh, that's
and it's
right.
fucking everywhere. And it's, I'm sorry, stupid expensive. I saw them. They were in Walmart now. The Lindt Dubai for a single chocolate bar, about yay big. How much do you think they're charging?
$13.
Are you
fucking kidding me?
For a fucking chocolate bar because it's a goddamn fad.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I said, it can't be that good. I ain't buying it.
Don't fall into fad culture, guys. It's a scam. So who invented the mood ring? Who created this iconic piece of jewelry? It remains a topic of some debate.
Ooh, scandal.
A jewelry designer named Marvin Wernick says he invented the mood ring years before 1975, developing the idea after he saw a doctor use thermochromatic temperature measuring tape on a patient. Reynolds, who is one of the people that like introduced it to the market originally, says he came up with the idea of a mood ring after the stresses of working on Wall Street that led him to explore biofeedback, a therapeutic technique where people improve their health by responding to the signals from their own body. He called himself a self-schooled behavioral scientist, explains Saggart. He had gone through a stage of his life where he was basically a hermit. He did various therapies, searching for enlightenment.
All right, that's very 1970s.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Searching for enlightenment.
The crystals perfectly suited Reynolds' behavioral pursuits as they instantly told people how they were feeling, which he felt would prompt them to change their mood. He wanted to give people information on their own bodies, which would allow them to mellow out and be more at peace. Reynolds' mood ring sales soon started outselling Wernick's version. Neither creator bothered to apply for a patent, so that's where a lot of the debate comes from who actually invented it.
You all gotta get your patents,
You gotta
man.
get the patent.
Get the paper.
Get the paper, or else it doesn't count.
To be fair, applying for a patent is a royal pain in the
Oh yeah, 100%.
But-
It's spendy.
It's expensive, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Patent licenses and lawyers' fees and shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
no, thank you.
And sometimes having to like hire like a not a ghostwriter, but there's a word for someone that like professionally writes up like legal
Oh
script.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it either right now.
Yeah. It'll come to me later.
Mhm.
I'll get home, I'll remember it, and I'll
You'll
just
text me in
you
the
and
middle of
be
the
like,
night.
It's this.
I thought of it.
So Sagert credits the business contacts Reynolds had made while working in the financial district for the success. It also helped that, according to the PR News Wire, mood rings had a massive surge of PR that swept across the country. So we're going to get into a little bit why mood rings were so popular.
All right.
The 1970s was once dubbed the Me Decade by authors and journalist Tom Wolfe, as it was a time to launch the mood rings, says Sagert. Pursuits like jogging, yoga, transcendental meditation, and jazzercise really took off. Jazzercise! We got to get the high knees and the arms.
From transcendental or transgender, whatever it is.
Transcendental?
Transcendental meditation to jazzercise.
Jazzercise.
That is two very different things.
So different, but like self-improvement, man. I'm just picturing like the videos.
Step, and step, and kick, and kick. I'm just picturing like fucking Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons
Yep.
having a freaking jazzercise off.
Exactly. Let's just play it in my head right now.
Oh,
Oh, but
God. Feel the burn.
feel the burn. But yeah, this is the decade where everyone's like, yep, personal pursuits, focusing on yourself, connecting with your own inner body. So the time where like the concept of wellness began to enter the cultural discourse. Everything in that era was about analyzing yourself, asking, who am I? What are my feelings? Mood rings symbolize this era more than anything. Of course, the jewelry didn't actually inform users about how they were feeling. They just told you what temperature your body was. You just had to rub your hands to get warm and be happy. You could manipulate the result, which is kind of funny because
Yeah.
you can kind of manipulate your own feelings anyway, because yes, you can feel something, but there's things that you can do.
Yeah,
To
you
manipulate
can
and make-
alter your mood through various like techniques and coping mechanisms and
Exactly.
meditation and deep breathing and
So maybe there is something behind it, because your body does change temperature
with
your feelings.
yeah,
too.
oh yeah.
Like when you're angry, you
I was gonna say anybody who's been around me when I'm pissed off can attest, because I guarantee my face, if you touch it, it's gonna be like touching a fucking hot stone. I get so hot in the face when I'm angry. Which makes sense because your heart rate increases, and when your heart rate increases, you perspire more. So your body temperature increases. So they
Yep.
like they're that makes sense.
So maybe there's
There's
some
some logic here
there's
somewhere.
a little bit of
If we
logic.
dig a little bit.
Exactly. So this awesome phenomena with this technology led Reynolds and his competitors to creating different mood revealing necklaces, nail polish, and even undergarments. That's weird. That one was weird. I was not able to find any pictures of these. Thank God.
Glad you didn't.
I
I
didn't
don't
want
want-
that to be on my search. I was I was worried about what was gonna come up if I searched that, so I just didn't.
I kind of want to look now.
Right? But when I read that in the article, I
Girl,
was like,
my search
what?
history is already fucked because of all the writing I do, and I search like poisons that are undetectable and demonic summoning circle rituals and all this shit. Like, I've already fucked up my search history, so I will Google that shit for us later.
That's what incognito mode is for.
I don't know. If that's what they're gonna put me on a watch list for, then they've been missing shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably already on a watch list for all the shit I Google, so
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's a
Oh.
writer's problem.
Yeah, writer's problems.
I write fantasy and about witches. I have to look up some weird shit
We gotta
sometimes.
look at things. It's fine. But alas, without a patent, the competition was so fierce, and there were so many people just like dipping their toe into the industry
Mm-hmm.
that their appeal was so fleeting that the mood ring slipped out of public consciousness by 1978.
Ooh, that's a short-lived fad.
Very, very short-lived. The crystals in the rings only lasted for about a year or two, recalls Saggart. So by the time everyone's mood ring stopped working, the fad was over. Nostalgia merchants pushed a brief mood ring revival in the 1990s.
Yes, ma'am. I was there for that.
And they're still available today in a variety of designs. But for Saggart, mood rings will always be one of those fads where everyone went insane for them, they died away, and then no one ever talked about them again.
That sounds about right.
Yep, because I think like every gift shop you go into, there's some little knick-knack, trinkety version of a mood ring these days that you can get for like $2.
I do have several thermal nail polish has made a resurgence in the last like year and a half, 2 years. So I've recently purchased quite a few bottles of like color changing nail polish that reacts to temperature. And I think that's a more fun application than the mood ring. Like I think that could be where it could have some sort of a resurgence, but in a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because then it's not just like a mood ring, but it's like
it's on your nails.
It shifts from like one color to another depending on hot or cold.
Yes, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, since I didn't do a very good job of tying in my card to my second topic, because I just thought it was a cool story, and I was like, I really want to talk about this story.
That's fair. It's our show. We can do what we want.
It's my party. Anyway, but I did tie it in for the other two. So, for my spooky spotlight, I took my card as inspiration, and talked because it's focusing on the idea of victory and like that. But I thought about in tarot, you can get the reverse.
Yes.
And so I went that route. And I thought, what is a place or a thing or a story that is spooky and haunted, but tied to a tragic battle? It's kind of the route I went.
Okay. Ooh, I'm thinking of a lot of places came to mind. With that.
There's a lot of options. Obviously, the first thing that came to mind was Gettysburg because it is the most haunted place in America. Yep. But I was like, I knew my second story was going to be kind of long. I didn't want to be here for, 10 hours. But also I was like, I want to do something that like maybe is not as talked about, but still pretty well known.
Yeah. So
we're going to take a little trip further south.
Okay.
To San Antonio, Texas. And in San Antonio, Texas, no landmark is more revered or more haunted than the Alamo.
I was like, it's gonna be the Alamo, but I didn't want to be like, remember the Alamo, and then have you say something. Like
you should have trusted your gut.
I know.
We're on the same wavelengths tonight.
My gut's gotten me a lot of trouble lately.
Yeah, So yes, the Alamo is known for the pivotal 1836 battle in the Texas Revolution. It is a symbol of sacrifice and defiance. Vive la resistance. But beneath its historical significance lies a chilling truth. The grounds of the Alamo are among the most haunted in all of San Antonio and in all of the United States, actually. The spirits of soldiers, civilians, and monks, even, are said to wander the grounds locked in eternal unrest. Their stories written not just in the pages of history, but in whispered voices and shadowy apparitions. Before it became known as the Alamo, the site was a Spanish mission named the Mission San Antonio de Valero, founded in 1724 by Franciscan monks under Father Antonio de San Buenaventura y Oliverias. That's a long fucking name.
That was a very long name, but you did pretty good.
Yep. Spanish is easy. I took 4 years of it. If I can't pronounce something in Spanish, I'm in trouble. The mission was built along the San Antonio River to spread Roman Catholicism to local Native American communities. Boo.
Boo. Boo. We hate colonialism. We hate... No. No.
Vive la resistance!
Vive la resistance!
Remember. The 5th of November. It is November right now.
It is.
We're past the 5th, but... the church's iconic nickname came from the cottonwood trees, Alamo in Spanish, that shaded the site. So it actually talks about this. In 1793, Spain secularized the missions. Yay, Spain.
Yay.
Good job. And the Valero site transformed into a military outpost. By 1803, a company of Mexican soldiers had taken residence, using the layout as a defensive stronghold against the Apache and Comanche raids. A fortress it would become in the Texas Revolution. This ignited in 1835 and reached a boiling point in December with the Texans defeating Mexican troops at the Siege of Bexar. That victory, however, was short-lived. By early 1836, the Mexican general Santa Anna was marching north with over 1,500 soldiers to retake San Antonio and crush the rebellion. At the Alamo, Colonel James Bowie and Colonel William Travis prepared to make a stand, reinforced by Davy Crockett himself.
Woo!
And a group of Tennessee volunteers. They brought the number of defenders to 189.
Wow.
Outnumbered and outgunned, the Texans refused to surrender. On March 6, 1836, Santa Anna launched his full assault. In just 90 minutes, the battle was over. All defenders were killed, their bodies burned or buried in mass graves, or dumped into the San Antonio River.
Dang.
The Alamo was left in ruins, but the legend had only begun. The hauntings at the Alamo began almost immediately.
I imagine.
Shocker. Mere days after the battle, when General Santa Anna ordered the church burned, soldiers sent to carry out the command reportedly encountered 6 ghostly figures carrying flaming swords.
Maybe they were the Rays.
Maybe. This what I mean. If anywhere a wraith was to be created, this is a good. Diabolos, as they described them, were guarding the site of the Alamo. Terrified, they fled, refusing to return.
Smart.
General Andrade, Santa Anna's field commander, attempted to complete the mission himself, but claimed to see a tall, ghostly figure atop the long barracks holding balls of fire in both hands.
Fireball.
Great balls of fire.
Do.
And the mission was spared.
Ha-ha.
So the ghost protected it.
Good job, ghosties.
The ghosts said to haunt the Alamo are many. A sorrowful man believed to be General Manuel Fernandez de Castrillon has been spotted, hands behind his back, head bowed in quiet regret. Castrillon, who had opposed Santa Anna's order to execute Texan prisoners, was nearly killed for his compassion. Though he died months later at the Battle of San Jacinto, his spirit reportedly lingers at the Alamo, perhaps mourning what he could not prevent. It's kind of sad. A little blonde-haired boy is often seen in the upstairs window, possibly a child who survived the battle but lost his family. On the roof, the spirits of a man and young boy are said to leap hand in hand from the parapet in an endless residual loop, echoing a tale from the Santa Anna's troops who saw a man and child leap to their deaths during the siege, rather than being gunned down by soldiers. I suppose if you're, jump and maybe live or die in the battle, I get it. Guests at the nearby Menger Hotel and Crockett Hotel have long reported ghost sightings, phantom soldiers marching the grounds, shadowy figures disappearing into the walls of the Alamo, and moaning voices drifting on the night air. At the Hotel Indigo, where cannons from the battle were once unearthed, guests have seen elevators operate on their own and ghostly figures in 19th century dress walking the halls. I'm sorry, if a fucking elevator starts going on its own, I'm gonna open the fuck out of that building.
Nope.
Absolutely not. I'd be like, check out, please. I'm dipping. Here's my key card. Some even report hearing cannon fire and screams from battles long past. Which again, I'm noping the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
In one account, security guards at the nearby former U.S. Post Office, which is right by the Alamo, witnessed 2 men rolling a cannon down the street before vanishing into thin air. A reenactment, perhaps, but not likely considering it was dawn and without warning. Though it is uncertain whether Davy Crockett's ghost haunts the site, the Crockett Hotel, named in his honor, has its fair share of paranormal activity. Chanting, phantom footsteps, and a sensor-activated doors opening with no one present are frequently reported.
Lovely.
Fuck that. While the spirit may not be Crockett himself, many believe the ghosts of numerous Alamo defenders have taken refuge in the hotel's halls, either unwilling or unable to leave. Perhaps the most tragic spirit, however, is that of Louis Moses Rose, the Frenchman dubbed the, quote, coward of the Alamo. When offered a choice by William Travis to stay or flee before the battle, Rose chose to leave. Ostracized upon returning home, he eventually left Texas altogether. Since his death, travelers have reported seeing a lone man walking towards San Antonio, and always says the same thing. I'm going to the Alamo, where I belong.
Oh.
Who's that? Across from the Alamo lies River Center Mall, a modern and bustling yet steeped in sorrow area. Historians believe the defenders' bodies were burned nearby, and ghostly activity abounds within the mall's area.
Makes sense.
Books fly off shelves, cold spots, chill rooms inexplicably, and whispers float through the halls. It also doesn't help that in the 18th century, the site housed a coffin shop.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Cheery.
We're just helping ourselves along here.
Yep.
About a mile away, a playground in Market Square sits atop the final resting place of the Mexican soldiers who were killed in the battle.
Okay.
Great place for a playground.
That is a choice.
Oh, we bury people here? Just throw some equipment on it and some of that little pebbly shit.
It's
visitors report sudden sadness, breathing difficulties, and an uneasy sense of anger or dread. Perhaps rape. Especially when visiting in a foul mood. It said the ghosts absorb negative emotions and grow stronger with them. Maybe a rape.
It's a rape!
It's a rape! For nearly 200 years, the ghosts of the Alamo have remained active. The site has served as a fort, an army complex, a police station, a jail, and is now a museum. No matter its purpose, the hauntings persist. Rangers and night security have reported hearing shuffling footsteps, disembodied gunfire, and eerie cries in the dead of night. Some believe the spirits of Texans and Mexican soldiers alike, and perhaps even the friars of the mission, still protect the site from desecration. They linger with a single purpose: to remind the world of the sacrifice made on those blood-soaked grounds. The Alamo is more than a shrine of Texas independence. It's a haunted landmark where history and the supernatural forever collide. And the last thing I found, there's this really kind of haunting poem that's called The Ghost of the Alamo. So it's by Theodore O'Hara. So I figured I would end with another poem since we did a little poetry last episode.
Yes.
So this is, again, by Theodore O'Hara. It's called The Ghost of Alamo. The muffled drum's sad roll has best the soldier's last tattoo. No more on life's parade shall meet that brave and fallen few. On fame's eternal camping ground, their silent tents are spread. The glory guards with solemn round the bivouac of the dead. I don't know what that word is. The neighing troop, the flashing blade, the bugle's stirring blast. The charge, the dreadful cannonade, the din and shout are past. Nor war's wild note, nor glory's peal shall thrill with fierce delight those breasts that never more may feel the rapture of the fight.
Ooh, that was spooky.
It's so... there's just literally, there was dozens of stories of hauntings in this area. And I've never really wanted to visit Texas, but if I were to go to Texas, I think this would be on my list of places to visit.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be cool to see if we can see something. I feel like the chances would be high.
Oh yeah, pretty high. My desire to go to Texas though is pretty low.
It's towards the bottom. It's one notch above Florida.
Been to Florida once. It was okay.
To be fair,
I was 10.
I would only go to Florida to go to Disney. And because I have family that lives there. And I do love my family that lives there. They're one of the nicer chunks of my family.
That's fair. And the ocean. It's cool.
I've been to the ocean on both coasts. So whatever. And I could go to LA and go to Disneyland, and it's pretty much the same as Disney World. So
spooky with the creature feature. We're gonna get downright crazy with my spooky spotlight.
I'm here for it.
We're gonna talk about the game show Killer.
Yes, I love this story.
Yes,
I've not gone super deep into it, so I'm excited to see what you brought.
It's long.
I have watched. I think there was a short mini documentary I watched about it once. There was a 30-minute.
This might be one of my longer stories. I have 5 pages.
Damn.
Wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 pages.
I'm not the only one who brought a book report this time.
Know. There was just so much with this one. I'm like, okay, no, because there's layers.
There's so many layers.
There's layers. There's timelines. Now, it's a little bit of a misnomer because he's called the game show Killer,
but he didn't actually kill on the game show.
He did not kill anybody on a game show. He gets this misnomer based on some events in his life, which I will get into.
Yes, and I know about that part. But I don't know a lot about his history and what led him up to the murdering.
Yes. So in a world where shows like Love is Blind, 90 Day Fiancé, and Married at First Sight, which are really weird context for shows. Don't even get me started on those. Maybe that should have been my what in the world.
That would be a good what in the world. Is like, what is with all of these like really weird love? I don't get it.
Like, yeah, quote unquote love shows. So at first conception, as first conceived by game show impresario Chuck Barris in 1965, there was a simple premise for the show. A woman looking for love asks 3 suitors who are hidden behind a screen a series of questions. At the end, she picks one to go out with. Pretty simple. Fucking weird. But while charm, chemistry, and double entendres ruled the hour, the vetting process left something to be desired. Because on the episode that aired September 13th, 1978, teacher Cheryl Bradshaw's winning suitor turned out to be a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Bachelor number 1, Ronnie Alcala, would later be convicted of 7 murders, including the killing of a 12-year-old girl, and authorities have speculated that his true victim count could be closer to over 100 women.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. This guy is something.
Fucked up.
Yeah. So, begs the question, how did Ronnie Alcala end up on the dating game? When Alcala showed up as Bachelor number 1 on the dating game in an episode that aired in September of 1978, he was introduced by the host Jim Lang as a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed. A lot of double entendres in these shows. Just putting it out there right now.
There's a lot of chemicals involved in a dark room. That's not somewhere you want to masturbate. I'm
Nope.
just saying.
Nope.
One wrong splash and you're scarred for life.
100%. Between takes, you might find him skydiving or motorcycling, Lang continued. Please welcome Ronnie Alcala. Bradshaw, a school teacher from Phoenix who'd previously worked as a foot masseur, started by asking Bachelor number 1 what his best time was. Alcala's response is nighttime. Asked to explain further, he said nighttime is when it really gets good. Then you're really ready.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I'd immediately been like, someone got this guy's fingerprints. Just saying.
Just saying. Bradshaw went on to ask her suitors, I am serving you for dinner. What are you called and what do you look like? First of all, who is coming up with
What
these
kind of fucking
questions?
question? No, I was like, I guess you could say if I'm serving dinner to you, like what would you want me to feed you? I could see that, but like you're the dinner?
You
Some
are
cannibalistic
dinner.
bullshit. No wonder there's a serial killer on the show.
Right? Alcala memorably replied, I'm called the banana and I look really good. When pressed for more details, he said, peel me.
You
Is right.
You on so many levels, because just in a sexual innuendo side, nope. That's just a visual I didn't need. But if you think about it, knowing who he is, I just imagine a cheese grater
Yeah.
against like bare flesh. No, I don't like it. I don't like where we have gone.
Don't like it.
I don't like the images that are playing in my brain right now.
Nope. So, reflecting on how bizarre.
It's like that scene, like that episode of Gilmore Girls where the Kims are talking about it, and she's like, the cousin or whatever peeled him with a potato peeler.
Yeah.
She's like peeled to death. What a way to go!
What a way to go. That it sounds horrible. So they
Yeah.
said they acknowledged it.
Thank you. 30 years later.
Yeah.
40 years later.
40, yeah. So at the time, though, he explained, that's a good, solid answer. We were looking for raunchy, sexy answers, and that was one. Take it in context
That's not
now.
sexy.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
sexy.
If you are trying to talk in a seductive way and you mention peeling your banana, I'm done.
Bye.
I am drier than the Sahara. Fuck that shit. I also don't like bananas, so maybe that has something to do with it, but
Yeah.
I don't love bananas. But it just, peel me, baby.
Oh. Ew.
Ew!
Ew.
Ew! It's the fucking Sahara Desert. How did he win?
Right?
I hate this. That just makes me go, what were the other
Yeah, what was the
contestants'
other guys?
responses that he won?
Right?
Like, how fucking out there.
No, like literally though, because of how she responds in a second here.
Oh God, I can't,
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, because they were looking for raunchy, sexy answers, and that was one that they got. So, the quote goes, "Take it in context now." It's like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, no shit.
No. God.
So after some of those responses, after a commercial break, Bradshaw made her choice, stating, "Well, I like bananas, so I'll take number 1." Yeah. I mean, I don't want to yuck someone's yum, but that is a...
We don't kink shame in this house. However,
that is a heavy however.
that you do you, babe, but that's a choice. Also, don't fuck fruit because that leads to yeast infections.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah, good facts. Thankfully, though, she actually never went out on her date with Akala.
Probably for the best, or she'd ended up missing.
The show had proposed a tennis lesson date followed by a trip to Magic Mountain.
That's
which
a
would be
weird fucking date.
A weird combo. Like the Magic Mountain, I could get behind. Like that could be kind of fun. Like if you're into amusement parks. But the tennis lesson, maybe those were like activities she
maybe something she thinks she was interested in, but like
yeah.
That's a weird combo.
Yeah. So she never went actually.
Although they could probably got some good ball smacking innuendos out of the tennis clothes.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's all it was. They just wanted to slap some balls around and say something about it.
Oh, 100%. No, that was definitely it. So they could have a racket of a good time.
Oh God.
Yeah. So thankfully they never actually went on the date.
Crack a swingers joke.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh no. No.
Is it sad that my brain works that I feel like I could write for this? Good Lord.
But yeah. So they never actually went on the date because Bradshaw was quickly turned off when she met him face to face. Thankfully.
Which if you've seen photos of him, don't blame her.
Oh yeah. Speaking of photos,
he was a little creepy.
He's a little disturbing. I have a picture of him now, and then I have a picture of him later when he's convicted.
Yeah, he was. It's the eyes.
It's the eyes when they talk
He's
about
got
like, people
those
having
like
dead
serial
eyes.
killer eyes for sure.
Mm-hmm. I started to feel ill, Bradshaw told the Sunday Telegraph in 2012. He was acting really creepy. I turned down his offer. I did not want to see him again.
Good. Smart girl.
Absolutely. Ellen Metzger, who was the dating game's contestant coordinator, recalled Bradshaw asking for an out the day after taping. She said, "Ellen, I can't go out with this guy. There's a weird vibe that's coming off of him. He's very strange. I am not comfortable. Is this going to be a problem?" Metzger said on a 2020 interview, and of course, I said no, as in no problem. So thank God someone listens to when someone's feeling uncomfortable. When someone expresses being uncomfortable, you listen and you don't make them go through with the thing.
Yeah. Which impressive that they did that considering the era.
Yeah, the 70s, they're usually like, well, what would the ratings say if they found out? They would like probably push that angle.
Mm-hmm. So good on them for listening to her and
like putting safety above
saving
all.
her life, more or less.
Yeah, more than likely. Actor Jed Mills, who was Bachelor number 2 on Bradshaw's episode, remembered literally recoiling from Alcala during the taping. He was creepy, Mills told CNN years later.
And
definitely
you still put him
creepy.
On the air.
Definitely creepy. Something about him. I could not be near him. I was kind of bending toward the other guy to get away from him. And I don't know if I did that consciously, but thinking back on it, I probably did. There.
Yeah. ¿Por qué no?
Es el carro.
Silencio. Sassy little shits.
They are sassy. So who was the dating game killer? Alcala's fateful appearance on the dating game in 1978 came 4 years after his release from prison, where he had just served 34 months for child molestation.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this guy is gross.
And they put him on a game show.
And they put him on a game show. And
we've never heard of a background check, people.
Oh, there's a reason why they weren't able to find that, which I will get into.
That makes sense. All right.
Mm-hmm. And you got to keep in mind the times of it as well.
Still.
Yeah. So he had just served 34 months for child molestation after kidnapping and sexually assaulting an 8-year-old girl in 1968, which is not long enough.
I'm sorry, 34 months?
34 months, which is not even 3 years.
No.
Not even 3 years, motherfuckers. That's a whole nother topic we gotta dig into one day.
That made me just want to punch someone.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, whatever fucking judge gave him that sentence.
I agree. So between committing that crime and being arrested for it, however, he killed at least one woman, a murder he couldn't be prosecuted for until decades later, once advancements in DNA testing linked him to a series of cold cases.
Jesus Christ.
And he murdered at least 4 more before he was bachelor number 1.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks to a good Samaritan who witnessed the 8-year-old getting into a car with a man she seemingly didn't know, after which he tailed them to an apartment building and called police officers, they found the child alive on the evening of September 25th, 1986. They also found Alcala's UCLA student ID at the scene, so they had the suspect immediately. But Alcala, a 25-year-old Army veteran who had gone AWOL and was diagnosed by the military psychiatrist with chronic and severe antisocial personality disorder before he went to college, was long gone.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There. So, getting it.
I hate everything about this man.
I know.
I
Unbeknownst to authorities in California, Alcala had resurfaced in New York, going by the name of John Berger. Using that alias, he enrolled at NYU, graduated with his bachelor's degree in 1971, and at the age of 27, worked as a photographer and secured a job as a counselor at an arts and drama camp in New Hampshire. Yeah. So this man,
I hate it.
The crime.
I hate all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Ew! It's so predatory and gross.
It's gross and icky, and it just sucks because especially I feel like a lot of these crimes were like so rampant at that time because there wasn't the CODIS. There wasn't a way to track
have
all
the
this.
like nationwide systems to like do background checks the way we do now, and oh god, it's so gross.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me so. I hope he gets shanked.
So, who were Rodney Alcala's murder victims? We're going to touch base on some of the victims because when we talk about these things, we need to.
The victims are way more fucking important.
We need to acknowledge
than this
the victims.
Piece of shit.
Yep. We acknowledge the lives that they were supposed to live and make sure their stories don't go unheard.
Yes.
Yes. On the evening of June 24th, 1971, Cornelia Crilly, a 23-year-old TWA flight attendant, was found dead in the Manhattan apartment she'd moved into that very day.
Jesus Christ.
Police, called by her boyfriend, after Crilly's mom couldn't get her on the phone, discovered her body in a bedroom with a stocking tied around her neck. She was partially clothed and had bite marks on her chest. So investigators
He was a biter.
Yeah, he was a biter.
Those are the worst.
So investigators were able to collect DNA at the scene, only at this time there was no way to match it to a suspect. Meanwhile, a month after Crilly was killed, Los Angeles police detectives who had been searching for Alcala since connecting him to the earlier mentioned 1968 child assault contacted the FBI. The Bureau subsequently added the suspect to its most wanted list.
Good.
Yep. In August of 71, a couple of campers where John Berger was a counselor saw his picture in the local post office. They didn't really think Berger really could be Alcala, especially since the fugitive was accused of harming a little girl, but they told a camp director who called the FBI.
Good on them.
Yeah.
Yay to those kids. Bravo
Good job,
to your
guys.
bravery.
Good job. Alcala was arrested at the camp the next day and flown back to LA to face charges for the 1968 assault.
And then they failed.
However, his young victim and her family had left the country and were unable to testify.
That doesn't matter. They had evidence.
They had evidence. Alcala did plead guilty to child molestation, and on May 19th of 1972, a judge sentenced him to a maximum of 10 years in prison with the possibility of parole.
Probably a plea deal for the plead of guilty.
More than likely. Alcala served time at the Duell Vocational Institute in Tracy, California, and the California Medical Facility, a state prison psychiatric hospital in Vacaville. He was released in 1974 after a state prison psychiatrist deemed him considerably improved. There's no improvement for that.
Fucking psychologist license.
He moved back in with his mother in Monterey Park and was required to register as a sex offender with the Monterey County Police Department. So, at least he registered.
Meh.
But that doesn't do jack shit when no one follows up on it.
Nope.
As proof, in October 13th, 1974, so not that much longer, literally 2 months later, he offered to give a 13-year-old girl who was waiting for her bus a ride to school, but ended up taking her to Huntington Beach, where he gave her a joint. A park ranger, sensing something wasn't right, called police. Alcala was arrested and charged that December with the sale of marijuana, kidnapping, and violating his parole. He was convicted of the parole violation and giving drugs to a minor and sent back to prison. He was then released on June 16th, 1977. On July 15th, 1977, so not even
a month,
Ellen Jane Hoover, who had recently moved to New York after graduating from college in Pennsylvania, disappeared. 2 days earlier, during the infamous citywide blackout that swathed Manhattan in darkness and prompted far more people than usual to be congregating outside, a friend had noticed Hoover was talking to a tall, skinny man with a ponytail. Asked who the freaky-looking guy was. I like that the clock that he's just looking right away. He is. Hoover told her friend that he was all right. After the 23-year-old failed to show up for a dinner date on the 15th, and her parents called police, investigators found that she had written John Berger, photographer, in her diary. She had written John Berger, photographer, in her diary.
Suspicious.
Police found Hoover's remains 11 months later in a shallow grave in North Tarrytown, Westchester County. Jesus. Yeah. While New York authorities were searching for Hoover, the body of Jill Barcombe, 18, was found in Hollywood Hills on November 10th, 1977, and Georgia Wixt, 27, was murdered in her Malibu apartment barely a month later, police finding her body on December 16th. So, like,
he's rapid firing.
He was on a spree.
There's not a cooling off period here.
In September of 77, Alcala secured a job as a typesetter on the Los Angeles Times after presenting a mostly falsified resume.
Shocker.
Surprise, surprise. He had worked there until May of 79. That December, he was questioned by the FBI at LAPD headquarters about Hoover's disappearance in New York. The Bureau, having connected the name Berger found in the woman's diary to Alcala, and he admitted to knowing her. He told investigators he took her to a spot in Westchester to photograph her, but then took her back to Manhattan and dropped her off at her apartment alive and well. In 1978, Alcala, since he was a registered sex offender, was interviewed by detectives from LAPD's Hillside Strangler Task Force before they ultimately arrested cousins Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono Jr. in connection with the murders of 10 women between October 77 and February 78. So they looked at him as a possible suspect.
He's got a lot of similarities to the Hillside Strangler case, to be honest.
He does. Ugh. Blech. Like, here's a picture of him from, like, 78.
He's just
strange.
No.
And the hair does not... Ugh.
I mean, I get that was the style of the time, but,
yeah.
like, he's just got, like, creepy look about him.
Yeah, so in the midst of all this, he continued to work at the LA Times and take pictures on the side. On June 24th of 78, 32-year-old Charlotte Lamb was found dead in the laundry room of an El Segundo, California apartment complex, but because she didn't live there, she wasn't identified for several days. Lamb told her friends she was going to a nightclub on June 23rd, and her family called police 3 days later once they realized no one had seen her since. Authorities soon realized that the missing woman was their Jane Doe. Less than 3 months later, Alcala was the man of the hour on the dating game. So all of this was before he was even on the game show.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
Nope.
Blech.
Nope. I don't like any of it.
Nope.
I don't like this place.
Nope. So a lot of, and from one of the articles I read about him, some of the confusion with identifying him right away with a lot of the stuff going on in New York.
Yeah, because he's going back and forth between New York and LA.
That's going back and forth between the two places. And also at the same time, we got the Hillside Strangler stuff happening over in LA. Mm-hmm. But we have Son of Sam, who's in his height of his stuff in New York at that time too. So he's kind of ping-ponging.
Fucking serial killer central.
Yeah, literally though. He was like ping-ponging back and forth between those two. So I'm sure that's caused a lot of confusion.
I do need to do an episode on Son of Sam at some point.
That was...
Berkowitz was fucking wild.
That was... Yeah. That was a nutty one. On June 14th...
The dog made him do it.
Mm-hmm. Dog.
His neighbor's possessed dog.
Woof, woof. Zoe, if you start telling me to do stuff, we're gonna have some problems. On June 14th of 97, Jill Portuno, 21, was strangled to death in her Burbank apartment. 6 days later, 12-year-old Robin Samso was reported missing after last being seen riding her bike to a ballet lesson.
No.
The child's remains were found on July 2nd in the Sierra Madre foothills.
I am surprised, just knowing that this all began with, or at least documented began with
an 8-year-old.
The abduction and assault of a child, that there weren't more children victims.
Yeah, because he starts young, then goes up, and then kind of
works his way back down. But it's just interesting that clearly he has a petulance for harming young girls. Mm-hmm. That he would deviate from that. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting.
He definitely seems like one that's opportunistic.
So, yeah, I think he's definitely just I'll just.
You're like, hey, I got a chance. Here we go.
You're a female. I want to kill you.
Yep.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. The Samso case was headline news, and according to a book by a girl named Sands, I forgot her first name, it was ultimately the Good Samaritan who called the police in 1968 to report that he had seen a young girl getting into a car with a suspicious man, leading to authorities where Alcala had taken the 8-year-old victim, called again to suggest that they look at the perpetrator of that crime for this one. So
interesting.
Yeah. So
that hero of the story, Good Samaritan.
This is the real hero, this unsung hero. So the guy that called in suspiciously about the first one saw this, recognized the similarities, and said, "Hey, you need to look at this. Look at this guy."
I don't know who this person is.
Whoever this person is, thank you.
I like this person.
We like this one. So once police dug up Alcala's mugshot, he looked a lot like the composite drawn up by the help of a witness who told police they'd seen a man photographing Samso by the Huntington Beach pier that day she disappeared. He was then arrested on July 24th of 78. So in the background there, you can see the composite.
Oh, it looks just like him.
Yeah, dead ringer.
Oh, yeah. They did, whoever drew that sketch did a good job.
They did good.
Sometimes those police sketches, especially back then, were a little
wonky.
But
also, it's subjective, and sometimes people don't have the best recall, so it's a mix.
When you're
scared or unsure, or if it's quick and you're not 100% sure. So what happened to our lovely contestant number 1? Alcala was found guilty of the Samso murder in 1980 and given the death penalty.
Hell yeah! Fry that motherfucker.
Fortunately, his conviction was overturned 4 years later after the California Supreme Court ruled that introducing evidence of his previous crimes at the trial had been prejudicial, but he was retired, reconvicted, and retried. Not retired. Retried. He's retired. He was retried, reconvicted, and resentenced to death in 1986.
Felt good.
Yeah, that was
good.
The federal courts overturned his conviction yet again, though, however, in 2003, and he was granted a new trial, but he remained locked up. With help of advances in DNA testing, Alcala, then 66, was convicted in Orange County, California, of the 1970s era murders of Barcombe, Wixt, Parento, and Lamb.
Good.
In 2010. Bite marks containing traces of his saliva and other bodily fluids from the killer connected him to all 4 victims.
Ew.
Yeah, ew. During the same proceedings, he was found guilty of Samso's murder for a 3rd time. So it's like 3rd time's the charm, guys. Alcala, who defended himself,
That's a choice.
that's a choice, maintained he had an alibi for Samso's disappearance, but did not offer any defense regarding the other victims, and again was sentenced to death. There are 36 people now that all agree that this man deserves to die, Samso's brother told the Los Angeles Times.
That's pretty definitive.
That's pretty definitive. Obviously referring to the 3 12-person juries.
Mhm.
Like, all came to the same conclusion that this guy needs to be off the fucking
36
earth.
separate people are like, fry this motherfucker.
Done.
Enough said.
So then again, in 2012, DNA linked him. So again, in 2012, linked by DNA, Alcala pleading guilty to the New York murders of Criley in 1971 and Hoover in 1977. He was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Alcala spent the rest of his life behind bars at Corcona State Prison before dying of natural causes at a nearby hospital in July 21 when he was 77. The world is a better place without him, that's for sure. Tally Shapiro says the 8-year-old girl Alcala assaulted in 68.
Wow.
I know it's awful what happened to me, but I've never identified with it, the 71-year-old added in her New York Times interview. I've moved on with my life, so this doesn't really affect me. It's a long time coming, but he got his karma.
Good for her.
Mic drop.
What a powerful queen.
Mm-hmm.
Blech.
Blech.
I need a shower after that one.
I know, it was
I feel icky.
Gross and icky and just
I feel icky. The biting of it all. The fucking serial creepy eyes and
I tried to find to see if there was like a statement or something from whoever did like the searching for contestants for the show.
How did this happen?
How guilty or how like creeped out do you think they felt? I hope that person got fired.
I mean, I get that, like, technically he's under using aliases. He's
probably lied
and they didn't have access. They didn't have the internet then.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't entirely blame the person that put him on the show, but like,
taking context,
the number of people that said, "Hey, this guy fucking wigs me out," should have been enough to been like, "Yeah, but we don't put him on there."
Maybe they were like, "Yeah, he's kind of weird, but it'll add flavor." Or like it'll add.
Oh God!
One of those.
You chose that word for the biter. It'll add flavor. Ew!
Feel me.
Yeah!
I'm never gonna eat a banana again. Oh my God! So instead of someone saying "bite me," you say "peel me." Ew! Ew! I feel dirty. Yeah.
Well, we are. I don't even want to know how long we're in here. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
But Kelly's gonna have a lot of editing too.
Sorry.
That's okay. We both had a lot of interesting facts and long stories, and we had a lot of tangents. But we are gonna pick our tarot cards. All right. Well, next month will be holiday season. Woohoo! So maybe we'll work in some holiday lore.
That's always a fun
I feel like
time.
we dug into it pretty good last year, so I don't know that we need to do a full episode of it. But
yeah,
like maybe one
story
of the 3 categories can be holiday themed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think all in all, a creepy but fun, not even mildly, very
just
unhinged
and
episode.
disturbing.
But we did it!
We did it!
Woo! Happy season 2 premiere!
Yay!
And yeah, as always, I've been Kelly.
I've been Carson.
Keep it weird, y'all.
Do-do-do-do.
See you next week. Month. See you next month.
Quack.
Could